To the victor goes the spoils.
That's right. So, Ted, just to catch you up, this is, of course, we just got through talking to Keith McDaniel, who was fantastic. But before that, all hell broke loose. Todd's in the studio, and I'm calling in on Skype.
Really?
Yeah, we had a Blog Talk Radio decided to have one of its days, and so anyway, Todd is calling in on the host line, not even on Skype. So we are doing what we're doing, but anyway, it's always great to talk to Ted. Of course, he co-hosts Baseball, Beer, and Barbecue with us, and several other shows that he's yet not aware of because I usually record him when he's sleeping. But anyway, the history of television goes from network to cable to internet. Many of the best quote-unquote television shows are not actually on television anymore. For instance, House of Cards, a show I know you like, is on Netflix. And I like it too. It's a great show. Does it surprise you with so many different outlets for serials now that the quality seems to have actually increased?
No. Guys, I want to thank you for allowing me to come on and step in the, sacred desk right now as being the interviewee.
It just got weird.
Todd has free reign of the studio. I cannot control it.
My goodness.
I have no idea what he's doing.
This is his chance to get back at me. No, I mean, it's great. It's a great time to watch TV. It's a great time. It's a great time to be a consumer, as we've always been, because for the last 50 years, we were used to watching TV a specific way. The show comes on at a specific time. You sit around the tube, whether as a family or as a watch party, and you watch it, and that's that. But nowadays with TV, these TV shows like Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, this stuff is released right on the internet, God knows what time, and it's available. I like the whole binge watching and just the ability to work outside of these big networks. We used to be held hostage to it. No longer held hostage to looking at a TV. If I want to watch TV or on my laptop or tablet or even mobile phone, I can now through the various video on demand services. So it's a great time, and it's great quality. You go to Amazon Prime or you go to Netflix, and this stuff this is original programming with top of the line stars.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, really good shows, absolutely. And it's funny because limited run series now, kind of jumping. Maybe it's the Netflix thing because most shows are about 13 episodes a season, maybe. And AMC does the same kind of thing, but limited run series have almost become the norm for successful shows, Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, so on and so on. Shorter seasons and sometimes shorter runs even, not just the seasons, but as far as the length of season, but how long they last as far as, the 6 or 7 episodes. It used to be like, hey, you'd get in syndication, I think, if it was beyond 7, but a lot of shows now that's on Netflix, syndication is really not necessarily all that important. So let's actually, if we could, let's each take one show that we think everyone must watch and why, and we'll start with you, Ted.
One series everyone must watch and why. That's a good question. Does it have to be a current show or is it an existing show?
Yeah, an existing show if possible. I know that and I think we have a question about like The Wire and things like that. But is there one show that people could start watching now, and then there's going to be a show that comes up, there's going to be another season or another 2 seasons, so people could really get kind of glued in now and then enjoy it in the next few years for new episodes?
I'm going to go a little nerdy and tell you, I'm going to go against the grain and say it's CW. On CW, The Flash is a great show. It's not heavy. Yes, you have The Flash, but you have the ensemble cast and a great storyline. So I would suggest watch The Flash. It's only in season 2, towards the end of season 2, and it's roughly about 22 episodes per season.
Awesome.
Ted,
Todd?
You totally went nerdy, Ted. And that's a good point because these days people think DC stuff and it's going to be dark, but their TV stuff they keep relatively light. Not that they're comedies, they're not at all, but I mean they're much lighter. They actually think they should entertain people with their TV series, so good on them for that. Well, I'm kind of torn because there's so much to choose from. I'm going to go with the Netflix series. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to say the Marvel series on Netflix, which includes Daredevil, which just wrapped up their second season, and Daredevil seasons 1 and 2 sandwiched around Jessica Jones, which is amazingly good. And these are not light and happy. These are very dark, very grim. They're darker than the film version of the Marvel Universe. But this is going to be in a big sequence. Luke Cage comes out later this fall, and that's going to be followed by Iron Fist. And then they're all going to combine in a series called The Defenders. But Jessica Jones, Daredevil is great, but Jessica Jones is an amazingly deep, for a, quote, comic book show, it's amazingly deep. The character development in that is amazing. And David Tennant, most people know him as one of the Doctor Who incarnations. He is like the best villain I've ever seen on television. He is amazingly good as the villain. Wow. You just have to watch it because he plays it as in the villain is the hero of his own story, and he absolutely plays it that way. That's a great series, Jessica Jones.
I'll say that I think The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, because it was a show that kind of started off on, what was it supposed to be on Fox or something? I don't know. Anyway, we went to Netflix. Netflix picked it up. Tina Fey produces it, and she really created it. And she's not on. Well, she's on the current season, but she doesn't have a huge major role. But it's funny. It's really really quick. It's really witty. Second season now on Netflix. It should be on for several more years, I would hope. Acting's really good. The characters are great. Yeah, I think the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is one people should tune into because it can easily be overlooked in the stratosphere that we have with all the outlets for television now.
Yeah, there's almost too much good TV, and I agree on The Flash and definitely agree on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt too. Going back to older shows, Ted, was there one show that you watched when you were growing up that you always felt was underrated?
Underrated. Let's see. I
don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Just in case you didn't hear it the first time, Ted. I didn't really ask you that question.
Oh, my goodness. Underrated shows. There's a lot of shows. The Greatest American Hero was an underrated show that, no one took anyway. It was kind of like, oh, ho-hum. Underrated show.
Ted, can I interject one thing here? If anyone wonders why Ted is an IT, oh my gosh, he's a fan of The Flash, and the first show he can think of is Greatest American Hero. Talk about nerd. Where are your glasses, Urkel? Come on, man.
Oh my goodness. Underrated. I'm stuck. I'm a little stuck on it because most of the shows that I've seen, you guys heard me talk The Wire to I'm blue in the face. The Corner is another great HBO type show that, it after its run, a lot of people appreciated it, and I'm gonna have to pass on that one for you know what? I'll take a lifeline. I'll pass this to you or Lee on that one.
Yeah, I think Greatest American Hero definitely qualifies, and that's definitely an underrated show. It lasted what? Did it last? It was just 2 seasons, wasn't it, Ted? Or was it? Did it go to 3?
Just 2 seasons.
That's what I thought. I agree. That's a terrific show. That to me that fits. That's an underrated show, and of course, all nerds love it. So it makes sense that you love it, Ted.
And wait. It also had Connie Selica in it.
There you go. Hard to pass that up. In appreciation of her acting talents, of course. Do you think there's a stigma with successful big screen actors going back to TV roles? Because it used to be that was a sign that, they were done in Hollywood. There were no movie roles for them anymore, and they were coming back to TV. Do you think that's still a stigma, or is that gone?
Oh, I think that's totally gone. I think it's in vogue now for that big actor, that big screen actor, to do theater, to do TV, but not do TV as you know it. Kind of do like that special event, 6-episode or 13 episodes, and just say, hey, this is going to be 3 seasons, and that's what it's going to be. Or kind of like the event that we saw this year with The People versus OJ. You had a lot of big-time actors on that show, and it was, 10 episodes, and it was great TV.
Yeah, well, wow, that was a quick hint. I wasn't expecting me to be up. Okay, so I'm up. Let me ask my question. Tom Brady suspend? No, I'm just kidding. So we all watch shows that might not be good for kids, but you run late night parents. What are a few shows that parents should watch, not could watch, but should watch with their children?
What are some shows that parents could watch with their children? Well,
should watch, not could watch. Should like should. The Wire. I know that you.
Oh yeah. As much as I love Game of Thrones and everything else, we just you just can't watch that with your kid. You just can't watch that with your kid. So what watch with your kid? I would say. What are the family-related shows like a Modern Family or a Fuller House or I don't remember that type. Because I remember years ago when we were younger and everyone would sit around the TV and and God forbid that I'm saying this now, we would sit around and watch the Cosby Show, and it was wholesome and it was fun and it was you learned something, but you say that 5-letter word now, Cosby, and people are like cringing.
Yeah, but you gotta separate the show from the person behind it. I mean, just like Woody Allen films and Woody Allen. I mean, I think you're absolutely right with the Cosby Show. I mean, that's a classic example. That if he was detailing what he was really doing, in between episodes, that would not be a family-friendly show. That would, unless you want to raise. Hey kids, this is how you score a Hypnol. Watch, Dr. Huxtable.
Right,
that wasn't in the show, so it's cool. No, I think that's a great example.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, we, I remember. We're all old enough to have watched television as kids when there wasn't anything but 3 networks on, I think. And I remember, reruns of the Andy Griffith Show, and we would watch that. When my dad got home, we would watch that from 5 to 6 every day. So,
which, by the way, Lee, the episode that introduced Ellie Walker, that was just on. That was on from 6:30 to 7 to 7:30. I just watched the tail end of that. So yeah, some of those shows are still on.
I bet you watched the tail end of Ellie Walker. So,
know what I'm saying.
We want to do our Rob Gordons with Ted, but I'm not in the studio, so Todd will have to hunt down the Rob Gordons in the studio, which may just be under Rob Gordon, or maybe under one.
They're under the Rob Gordons. They're also down under Burning Down the House, which they're not under Burning Down the House. I was hoping they were on Burning Down the House, but they're not there. Lee, why aren't they under the Rob Gordons? That makes me sad.
It's actually 1- Rob Gordons is what it is.
That makes sense. Because that way it's up at the top where no one would look for the Rob Gordons.
Right.
And are we ready? Are we ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Are you sure?
These are the Rob Gordons, presented by the Greenlandic Norse Society and Mutual of Omaha.
And no. This is my damn question. Okay. So these are Rob Gordons.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you, one of our panelists has dropped.
Yeah, Ted just felt like he didn't want to do it anymore. He was just like, Rob Gordon, screw this.
So hopefully
he was like, I'm not prepared for this.
Ted will call back in shortly.
I hope he does. I mean, I did say I wanted to do the Rob Gordons with Ted, right? Didn't I say that?
I'm pretty sure this is a blog talk radio situation, not a Ted situation. Because it's pretty much been a blog talk radio.
There's
well,
Ted.
here's Ted. Ted.
Hi.
Ted, you were talking about Rohypnol, and Ted mysteriously disappears for a moment. I wonder what's going on at the Hicks household tonight. Hey, think about it. Hicks household, it's pretty close. Blame
Block Talk.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, we have our Rob Gordon's 5 best TV shows currently on the air, and we do want to start with Ted because he is the guest. So Ted, you can give us all 5, or we can do one at a time until we count down to 1. What do you think, Todd? How should we do this?
Let's just do 1, and then we'll go around until we get to our number 1s each of us. So Ted, you're number 5.
Number 5, I'm going to go with House of Cards.
Okay.
Why is
and Todd,
I'm going a little off the path. I'm going with Mike and Mike.
Mike?
It's a TV show. It is one of my 5th favorite TV show. And it is better on TV than it is on radio.
That's true. So
and they're very entertaining.
When I came up with this list, I was thinking, you know what, we're probably all intelligent enough to think this is a non-reality TV thing where it's just comedy or drama.
Oh, excuse me. Have you seen those guys?
Wrong.
You think they are remotely based in reality? They are not anywhere close to reality, sir. Not anywhere close.
So, anyway. Okay. Todd, that's fair, yes. So I went with, I didn't want to go with Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt because I'd already mentioned it. So Orange is the New Black, which is a really good Netflix show. It's a fabulous show. If anybody hasn't watched it, you can obviously stream all the seasons on Netflix currently, and the new season comes up in June. But at first, give yourselves a few episodes because it's a matter of, at first you might be like, well, this is a women's prison and they treat each other horribly. Just give it a few episodes. The characters will grow on you and you'll understand the characters even better. So that's number 5 for me. Ted, number 4?
Number 4, I am going to go with, currently right now, another show I love, and I'm sorry the show that I'm a geek is Legends of Tomorrow.
Ted, you are such a mark for DC Comics. Wow. How many comics do you have in your collection? You have like 1,000, don't you, Ted? You have 1,000.
Yes.
And if they grade under A, you throw them out. You don't even sell them. You just burn them. It's like, wow, crazy. Number 4 for me, because I didn't feel constrained by the yoke of the oppressive leader of our society who now says it's only drama or comedy, I decided to go with another reality-based show, which is CBS Sunday Morning, which is the only new show that's on at all that realizes everything isn't the end of the freaking world. But if I have to go with a scripted series, I will go with Broadchurch, which is an excellent show also starring David Tennant, which the 3rd series is on now, which is also available on, I believe it's Netflix. So it could be Hulu, but it's one of those streaming things, and it's terrific.
Okay. And I guess I'll go with the NBC Nightly News because it's, it takes no talent to do live stuff. Todd, Jesus. So number 4 for me is Veep, which just started its latest season, and then it's great. I mean, the show is extremely well written. Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is amazing. If you haven't seen the poster for the new season, it's kind of a play on the whole new political posters where they're all red, white, and blue, kind of like Obama, but it's just her photo, and underneath it, instead of like hope or whatever, it just says maybe ! It's a fabulous show, an HBO show. So Veep, number 4 for me.
It's kind of like a tie for 3 because it's those BBC type series, and it's a combination of The Fall with Gillian Anderson. The 3rd series is scheduled to come out. I mean, it should have come out last year, but I'm thinking she's filming now. She couldn't film X-Files and The Fall together. And so the tie is with The Fall and with Luther, another series with Idris Elba, who's a great actor, but Luther is only like 4 or 5 episodes per season. And the last season was only 2 episodes. So it just cuts through all. There is no fluff. You find out what's going on, what he's doing, and he's ready to kick you know what.
Those are both really great shows. And for our listeners, this is from our outline, Rob Gordon's 5 best TV shows currently on. There are no qualifiers as far as, it has to be a drama. It has to be scripted work. And for your information, CBS Sunday Morning is scripted work, so there you go. And as far as not having talent, we are proof. We are living proof that Mike and Mike have talent, because God knows we don't, and that's why our show's like this. But my number three is a scripted show, and the rest of mine all are, is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is, a lot of the former SNL, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler notwithstanding, a lot of them go on to do other projects, and they're awful. This is a project, Andy Samberg is the head of it, but very much an ensemble comedy, and it is absolutely hilarious. It's the funniest thing on TV, to me, by far. It's on FX.
And what are we on? 3? I add House of Cards, which we've already talked about. So, number 2 for you, Ted?
My number 2 is Criminal Minds, the original series, not one of these knockoffs. Like how they do the Criminal Minds and NCIS and CSI. The original Criminal Minds. It's been on about, I think, 11 seasons. And for the most part, half of the cast, the original cast, is still on the show.
Yeah, at least. I know I had a discussion once with a guy, and I think Criminal Minds is great, and he was saying it's not realistic. It's like, everybody knows that profilers don't go and solve the case in 24 hours. We know it's not realistic. It's a great drama. It's a terrific drama. It's really, really good. I really love Criminal Minds. A more realistic show, though, for me is The Walking Dead. That's my number 2, because we all know we're going to be out there fighting zombies and fighting the non-dead people, which are even worse. So that's my number 2.
Number 2 for me is Sherlock, which is still on. And even though it's a very short run, it's really 6 shows if everything was an hour, because it's 2 hours. Basically, it's 2 hours each show, and there's 3 shows. And Sherlock is a fabulous show. Benedict Cumberbatch is a fabulous Sherlock, and Martin Freeman's a great Watson. So that's number 2 for me. Number 1 for you, Theodore.
Number 1, I just started watching it. I was able, because I would love to say Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, but there's 6 seasons for me to catch up with. But the show that I enjoy the most is Fear the Walking Dead. As you guys know, the first season was only like 6 episodes, and now I'm catching every show, that specific night. I might not watch it on TV. I may watch it through demand, but it's definitely Fear the Walking Dead for me.
And for me, my number 1 show, and again, I'm going to cheat a little bit like I already did, it's the Marvel Netflix shows. Because I mentioned they're one show, they're in the same universe, so it's Daredevil, it's Jessica Jones. I mean, if I had to pick one, it's Jessica Jones, which will be on again next year. And
number 1 for me is Better Call Saul. We haven't mentioned it, and it's a show that stands on its own. You don't even have to see Breaking Bad, but if you see Breaking Bad, it augments Breaking Bad. But maybe Breaking Bad augments Better Call Saul. I don't know. They're both full of great characters and extremely well written, well thought out plot lines. So it's fabulous. So anyway,
hey Lee.
Yes.
Lee, can I give an honorable mention? Because there's
to
2
the
shows
Wire?
that I forgot. No. That's I actually have the box DVD set of The Wire, the entire series. And that just goes to show you how many years ago I purchased that. The 2 honorable mention shows, one is 12 Monkeys. Both of them are sci-fi shows, which I do enjoy. 12 Monkeys and Z Nation is a kind of comedic take off of the, zombies and the whole Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead is Z Nation.
So that's 18 shows we've mentioned now. I've not caught any of Z Nation, but 17 I definitely agree with. I mean, and there's so many more we could make. Like
Yes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter are two shows that I like a lot. I don't think they're the 5 best, but I enjoy them a lot.
Or the Americans. We haven't talked about the Americans, which is extremely highly rated every season.
Yes. Exactly. I mean, we could probably each run off another 5, and everyone would still love the shows. We are lucky that there are so many. Like you started at the very beginning, like there's so many great shows on now. Of course, there are some terrible shows on too, and that's the nice thing is we're not stuck with 3 networks like we used to be when we were growing up.
Yes.
And yeah, there's a lot of chaff on there, but there's so much good stuff on. It's like 10 years from now, no one's going to remember that The Strain was on, hopefully. Because, man, that thing was a major disappointment because there's just so many great shows, and it's there are too many to watch. Like you mentioned The Americans or Breaking Bad. I didn't even watch Breaking Bad until about 3 months ago is when I started watching it. So we're extremely lucky, that's for sure. And I would definitely recommend all the shows that we all mentioned tonight to our listeners, except for the ones Ted likes, because then you'll turn into a nerd.